Okay, so finally we have gotten to Punnet squares. So for right now, I am just going to show you the Punnet squares for complete dominance. Complete dominance is when there is one allele that is going to be completely dominant over another allele. So for example, in our purple and our white flowers, the purple flowers or the purple allele is dominant over the white allele. And so if a plant has two dominant purple alleles, then those flowers are all going to be purple. If it has a dominant allele and a recessive allele, therefore a heterozygote, it will also show purple flowers. And since the white flower is the recessive trait, then if it has two lowercase or two recessive alleles, then it's going to be a white flower. That is completely dominant, where if the presence of one of the alleles directs the color or directs the variation of the trait, that is completely dominant. So here's an example showing the F2 generation, which is what all Punnet squares typically are going to show you. They're going to show you the F2. So what's going on here? So I've already written it out, but I'll kind of rewrite it just so you can see what's going on. So this capital P and this lowercase p, this is a dominant allele. This is a recessive allele. This flower is a heterozygote. It is going to look purple because this presence of this dominant allele makes it purple. It's controlling how the flower is going to look. The top part up here that I just circled, this is one of the parents, and then the other parent is also going to be a heterozygote individual, and it's going to have a capital and a lowercase, so a dominant and a recessive. So you always put the parents on the top and the side of the Punnet square. Whatever their genotype is, the letters, whatever their genotype is what you're going to put at the top and at the side. So the top could be the mom, and the left could be the dad, or the top could be the dad, and the left could be the mom. It doesn't matter which parent you put where. It just matters that all of the mom shows up on top and all of the dad shows up on the side, or all of the dad shows up on the top and all of the mom shows up on the side. You don't want to mix up parents. Like you wouldn't want to put one of mom's alleles here and one of her alleles here. That would be wrong. You want to put each parent either at the top or on the side. Okay, and so then from there, you kind of just go down like you would using like an Excel sheet or I'm sure you've done this type of thing in math where you like cross up and see what happens when you line them up. That's pretty much what's happening. So like in this box, I brought this P down from the top and I brought this P to the side for two capital P's. Over here, I'm going to bring this P over here and this P right here. So a capital and a lower, or a dominant and a recessive. I'm going to bring this P here, this P here, so another dominant and recessive, and then here and here. So two recessive lowercase letters. So you're always just going to put in each box one letter from each, or one allele from each parent. Ooh, it's kind of weird how it looks like that. Okay, don't erase then. Okay, now some words to the wise. I should not have chosen the letter P. You can probably guess why I should not have chosen the letter P. It's because a capital P and a lowercase p look very similar when you're writing with your handwriting. When you type a lowercase p and an uppercase P, you can tell the difference very easily. Such is not the case with handwriting. So whenever you guys make a Punnet square, You can choose whatever letters you want as long as you choose the same letter. So you could choose T's, so then you could do like capital T and lowercase t because those look much different from each other, right? You can very clearly, in this case, see the difference when I try to do it with the T's versus with the P's. So you can use any letter you want. It really doesn't matter at all. You use whatever letter you want. You just have to be consistent. Like sometimes I'll have students try to do things like, oh, well, I don't want to use P. I want to use T and W. And then they'll do something like this. Like, no, that's confusing. Okay, no one does it this way. This is super confusing, okay? You only want to use the same letter. So either T, P, B, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, you know, the whole alphabet. You can use whatever letters you want. But you just want to make sure that you're consistent. And you can even change them up between questions. So in the next couple of slides on OneNote, you're going to see that they're just empty, waiting for you to fill out the Punnet squares, which I will then go in and check to make sure that you are doing them correctly. But essentially, you could choose whatever letters you want for every single question. So if you're looking at purple flowers versus white flowers, you can use the letter P. If you're looking at tall versus short, you can use the letter T. If you're looking at yellow versus green, you can use the letter G. Like, it doesn't matter what letters you use, it just matters that you are consistent. And so from here, we can learn about what the next generation of offspring are potentially going to look like. So here's our F1 parents, and then here's our potential F2 generation offspring. So what we see, which should be no surprise because this is exactly what Mendel saw, but we can see that these three, this one, and this one, all have a dominant allele, and therefore they're all going to be purple as their phenotype, what they look like. And then this guy over here is going to be white. So that is the 3-to-1 ratio that Mendel saw. So he can predict that before he even crosses his plants, and then he can see that, oh, yep, I was right, that is actually what happened. So we're seeing what the potential F2 offspring could look like. And we put our F1 parents on the top and on the side. Now, when you are given problems, you will be told what you need to know to be able to answer the question. I'm going to make sure that you have enough information to know if the parent is going to be white or purple or tall or short. Like, I'm going to tell you those things. So again, you're always going to put whatever the parents are on the top and on the side. The parent on the top's alleles are going to move down. The parent on the left's is going to move across. One allele from each parent has to end up in all 4 boxes, and you can choose whatever letters you want, but be careful to choose the ones that actually look different when you are handwriting, because you can get yourself into a lot of trouble by using letters like the letter C or the letter P, and you're going to get answers wrong even though you know what you're doing because you can't read your own handwriting. Trust me, I've done it, been there, done that, word to the wise. So the next few are going to be for you to do. I will do this one. Go ahead and pause it, see if you can do it on your own, and then come back and see if we get the same answers. So a homozygous dominant tall plant, that's how I would read that because it's got 2 of the same allele and they're both the dominant uppercase. So that's a homozygous dominant plant is crossed with a homozygous recessive, so that's why it's 2 of the same, so that's the homo part, but it's 2 lowercase, so it's recessive. So it's crossed with a homozygous recessive short plant. What percentage of the offspring will be tall? So here's my tall plant on the top, short plant on the bottom. I could have done it where the capitals were here. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I don't know why my pen is being so funky. Okay, so in this case, it's asking us, okay, what percentage of the offspring will be tall? Well, this whole box is 100% because because it's like using quarters and dollars. Hopefully you guys can do simple math. I can do it, so I know you can do it. So the whole thing is 100%, and since the 100% is separated into 4 groups, each one of those is going to be 25%, but we can see that tall is the dominant trait, therefore 100% of these offspring are going to be tall. There are no lowercase, lowercase, or recessive, recessive. There are none of those in our offspring. So all of our offspring, 100% of them, are going to be tall. So hopefully this makes sense to you, is easy. I think it's pretty simple. I think you guys can handle it. We're looking at complete dominance. On Friday, I will show you incomplete dominance, and I will show you co-dominance, because then we get to talk about blood type, which is really fun because everyone always enjoys talking about blood type. But go ahead and see if you can do these guys over here and see if you can figure out what to do. So in this one, a homozygous round-seeded plant is crossed with a homozygous wrinkle-seeded plant. So what are the genotypes of the parents? So you have to take from this information, homozygous round and homozygous wrinkled, you're going to have to take that information and you're going to have to decide what the genotypes of the parents are, so what the letters are for the parents, and then what percentage of the offspring are going to be homozygous, and then what is the genotype going to be for all of the offspring. Okay, so I can ask you lots of different questions from these Punnet squares. So give them a shot. I'll post the key to it probably later, probably closer to Friday, so that everyone has time to actually do them. But I'll post the key so that you can see what's going on. And I'm also going to post a complete dominance worksheet for you guys to work on. And I'll post the key to that too on Thursday night. That way on Friday, if you have any questions, we can clear them up. So yeah, that's all I have for you.